Kemp Smith here.
Gary Israel.
Vance Garwood present.
Marshall Martin.
Dan Colson.
Thank you, everybody. Item 2.1 is the election of the vice chair. We kind of hashed it out before the meeting started and our mics were on. Main responsibilities would be for the vice chair would be to fill in if the chairperson were not available. And it sounds like, Dan, you've agreed to be willing to do that? Okay, very good. Well, that was fairly easy.
So someone needs to move to nominate Dan,
Right.
and then you can accept that nomination.
Yeah,
Well, I'll
Yep.
make a motion that Dan Colton be elected to vice chairperson.
thank you, Gary. We have a motion nominating Dan as the vice chair. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? Let's do it again. All those in favor, please say aye. Or we
Yes.
should supposed to say yes and no, aren't we? Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no? Motion passes. I got it.
Should have caught you on that one.
Yeah. I'm learning. It's only been 2 years doing this. Let's move on then to item 3, which would be the minutes from May 19. Hopefully everyone had a chance to review those.
Mr. Chairperson, I, Gary Israel, make a motion to accept the Planning Commission minutes from the 19th of May as presented.
Thank you, Gary. We have a motion for approval. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say yes.
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 Opposed, no. Motion passes. Let's move on to communications. Anything from staff? Development report or anything?
Nothing I want to add on those. Congratulations, new Vice Chairperson Colson.
Big pay raise there too.
Doubles,
Yeah.
actually.
Does it double?
Oh, yeah.
From 0 to 0?
Exactly.
All right, I like it. Good, good. All right, all right. Well, let's go ahead and move on then to really the only additional item on the agenda, which will be item 5.1. We'd like to welcome everyone and lay out a few ground rules which will apply to each public hearing we hold tonight. It's important that you present any facts or views you have as evidence so that an informed recommendation can be made by the Planning Commission to the governing body for their final decision. For those cases which advance to the governing body, under state statute, the governing body does not have to hold additional public hearings on these matters, although they may listen to whomever they wish. You will be asked if there's any new information which was not heard at these hearings. It's to everyone's advantage if you'd present all the necessary information at these hearings. For each case, after the city zoning administrator provides the commission with background information, I'll call upon each applicant. The public comments will be heard following the applicant. Once all have been heard, the applicant will have a final opportunity for comments. The Planning Commission will close the hearings to public comments and then will then consider the factors on which to base their recommendation. During this time, the commission may direct questions to the applicant, the public, and/or city staff. You should be aware that the Planning Commission can recommend that the site be platted or replatted if necessary, and that a site plan may be required for approval. You should be aware that any uses permitted outright in the district by the regulations can receive a zoning permit. Furthermore, if the applicant chooses to describe various features of their development plans, the city can only enforce those provisions which are covered in the city's zoning and other codes. Anyone wishing to speak must be recognized by the chairperson and give their name and address. Please use the podium and speak clearly so that your comments can be recorded for inclusion into our minutes. Official notices for this hearing has been published on the City of Andover Municipal website on May 23rd, 2026, and notices were mailed to the applicant and all applicants and real property owners of record in the area of notification on May 22nd, 2026. The record shows at least 20 days have elapsed between the publication and mailing dates and the hearing date. Unless there's evidence to the contrary from anyone present, I'll declare that the proper notification has been given. Although we do not encourage such communications, I'll ask the commission members when the time comes if any of them have received any ex parte verbal or written communication prior to these hearings which they'd like to share. Let's now call on agenda item 5.1, which is a public hearing on case number Z-SU26-0002. Before we proceed with the hearing, I'll ask the commission members if any of them intend to disqualify themselves from participating in this case because they or a relative own property in the area of notification or have any conflicts of interest.
No.
Anybody?
No.
No. I don't either. I now call upon the city zoning administrator to provide us with a report on this case.
Here we have about 2.7 acres with the MXR multiple family mixed residential use district zoning. It was the previous location of a skilled nursing facility, which closed around the time of the pandemic, some of you may recall. Back in March of 2024, a couple of you were on the Planning Commission at that time. A special use was approved for an intermediate care facility in this facility. Unfortunately, a special use authorization is valid for 1 year from the date of the effectuating ordinance being published, which in this case, or that case, I should say, was March 2 of 2024. The way that you get to keep your special use is by applying for and receiving a zoning permit within the 1 year of that effectuating ordinance going into effect. And the applicant in this case did not do so. So that special use expired and the ordinance was voided after a year. The ownership has now changed, and the new owners want to revitalize this attempt to reopen as an intermediate care facility. They're going for the same special use as was approved a couple of years ago. The conditions on the property are basically exactly the same. Nothing has really been changed. I can say they haven't really pulled me, a building permit or anything like that to do any major renovations inside. So most of what I said, a couple of years ago is still going to apply, and you'll see that whenever we get into the specific factors to consider. From our understanding, the applicant has already received their state authorization to operate this facility. There are some inspection and security requirements that are above what the city can, enforce. So that's something that is at the state level, and my understanding is that it's already been taken care of. One more thing, there is an approved site plan from many, many years ago on this property for landscaping, things like that. It's my understanding that between the skilled nursing facility closing and the various attempts to reopen with a different facility use, some of that has fallen into disrepair. I have had communication with the applicant, and they are working to get it all brought up to spec. So if there were any changes, they would have to go back to site plan, of course, but there should be any missing landscaping should be installed before they reopen.
Thank you. I can't believe that's been 2 years already.
Yeah.
I remember that. Remember when we talked about it. Any questions of staff on this? Gary, you were on the committee at the time.
Yeah. No, I remember this case coming up beforehand.
Yep.
My only question when the applicant comes up would be about maintenance of the building since it's set for a couple of years without anything happening. I mean, has there been any disrepair or things, that are critical that need to be corrected? But if they've got certification from the state on, the inspections would be done, but we can address that.
Any other questions of staff? No. I now call upon the applicant to make his or her presentation on the request and any response, answer any questions. If you come up to the podium and state name and address, that'd be great. Please. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having us here today. I'm Nick Motu, and I work for Ascension Recovery Services. Doug Leach, who's right there, is the CEO of Ascension. Mercedes Cameru is from Andover. She is the business development director for the facility once it opens. And the Chamber of Commerce president is here also showing her support. Let me just give you a little history. I was involved with the ownership group about a year ago. I worked at Hazelton Betty Ford for 25 years in senior leadership, and they came to me because they wanted to open a treatment center. They all have family members in recovery. They wanted to give back. They're fully funded. So we selected Andover for a number of reasons. I made a site visit here. The community is wonderful. I've been here many times. And we selected the property in question that you're looking at. And it was assured to us that all of the permits were in place, the license from the state was in place. And so the purchase happened middle of February of this year. Well, we found out unexpectedly about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago that we needed a special use permit. So that's why we're here. We have made improvements to the property already. The air conditioning had to be all redone. We have refloored it. repainted the entire interior. We've got cameras set up. The business vision is to operate, we're licensed for 80 addiction treatment beds. These are residential treatment occupants. We're also going to do detox in the facility. There will be no methadone treatment. I know that was an issue when you looked at this a few years back. We will, even though it's licensed at 80 occupants, we'll probably max out at about 65 at any given time. Ascension Recovery Services is the largest, and I would consider it to be the best operator in the country. We have managed over 100 facilities. We will be managing this one as well. We ask that you approve this permit. And I know we've got to go before the city council mid-July. We've already had a grand opening because we expected to be open with patients the 8th of June, but obviously that did not happen. But we would really appreciate it if you would approve this special use permit so we can open. And, I think I've been in recovery over 30 years. And, my personal mission is to help other people in recovery. I know Doug feels the same way and Mercedes does. And our aim is to help people in the community that have an issue with drugs and or alcohol and really help them recover.
Thank you. Any questions? The applicant? Did he answer your question,
Yeah,
Gary?
I think you addressed it when you said you went in and refloored it, repainted and got
Yeah.
cameras up and stuff like that. And
Yes.
the AC system. So just a question, you were going to have your open house. Did you have people show up?
We had about 100 people show up.
Oh, wow.
We had the Wichita mayor show up, the majority leader of the Senate show up. I was there, Doug was there. We had many from the recovery community there. I mean, this is going to be a first-class operation, well-funded. I mean, I think you're going to be proud to have us in your community. And I can say that having been associated with the best treatment center in the country for many years. Doug has had, his share of involvement in some of the better treatment centers in the country. So this, we've got a lot of experience trying to, operate and start up facilities. So I'm really, we're excited to be here in this community. We're already a member of the Chamber of Commerce. We also feel that involvement in the community is key. We want to be involved in the community. We want to hire people in the community. Mercedes is from Andover. We've already hired 16 full-time staff. We hope to have that up as soon as we open to 35 to 40 full-time, high-paying positions, nurses, clinical directors and clinical folks and others that really can operate this to the fullest extent. This, security, I know that was an issue when I looked at the minutes from the last time this was before you. Security is 24/7. We don't take dangerous patients. We will not admit them. So, we're not a danger to the community at all.
Well, I just have one more question.
Yes.
Before. If this is passed by the Planning Commission this evening and goes through and is approved by the City Council in July, which would be the second Tuesday, correct?
The 14th, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
How soon would you plan on being open then?
The next day.
Okay, the 15th of July. Okay. Would you have another open house? And
We could. I mean, I know it was difficult for many of you and the city council folks and anybody from the city to be at our open house, but I would love to have kind of a private tour made available for all of you and anybody on the city council that wants a tour. It's beautiful inside. It was, as was said, this was empty for a number of years. And as you guys know, buildings fall in disrepair if they're not occupied and taken care of. And that was the case here. But, we spent a lot of time and money trying to bring this up to standard. We are going to do landscaping. So, we look forward to working with, any of the city staff to help us design that. So just let us know. But to your point, we're not going to have another formal grand opening.
No, it'd be-
So-
I'd appreciate an invitation to come
Yeah.
over and review the facility and just see what's going on. Because, I'm a recovering addict, 48 years.
Congratulations.
So-
Yep. Good.
Any other questions? No? I think we're good. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Would you like to say something? Go ahead.
Doug,
Yeah, that'd be
yeah.
great.
I never pass up an opportunity to speak. So my name is Doug Leach. I'm the founder and CEO of Ascension Recovery Services. I'm also in long-term recovery from addiction and alcoholism myself. And so I grew up in West Virginia, and whenever I needed treatment desperately, there were 2 residential facilities in West Virginia. Each one had 16 beds, and there was about a 6-month wait list to get in. I, had the opportunity. My family was able to pay for me to go to treatment. Almost nobody in West Virginia has that opportunity. A very, very poor and rural state, as you guys know. But I had the opportunity to go to Hazelden, where Nick was affiliated with. Whenever I left Hazelden, I was just so impressed by the recovery community in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities. I thought it was amazing. Recovery changed my life. It gave me my life back. I went back to West Virginia, and I was just shocked that, we had no resources in our state. I knew nothing about addiction. I was caught in the middle of it and just was in denial myself. Really had my eyes opened up as things got really bad. But once I got back to West Virginia and seeing the state of affairs and that we had no resources, I wanted to make available high quality resources that of Hazelden. This is right before they merged with Betty Ford, but I thought, why can't West Virginia have such high quality services? So it became my life's mission. My background's public accounting and finance, but I got into opening up recovery programs. First one I opened was a nonprofit called West Virginia Sober Living. Whenever I opened up that program, I moved into the program. I lived there. I was still doing my accounting consulting work to pay for the bills and rent the facility, but I was the chore checker, the bathroom cleaner, the drug tester, all those things, and just kept pushing forward. And so I started out opening up programs in West Virginia. West Virginia Sober Living is now, we cover the whole state. We've got recovery homes throughout the state, and it's just a remarkable program. Have gone on to open up in partnership with WVU Medicine, something called WVU Medicine Center for Open Healing, but just center after center. We probably opened up 30 different programs in West Virginia. I tried to pull in the best minds from around the country that really cared about recovery. People like Nick, Bill Coleman, who was a clinical director at Hazelden, Betty Ford, and I put them on my team to join me in my mission to expand access to care around the country. So whenever I got introduced to this project, of which I get introduced to hundreds, and we're very picky and choosy on which ones we take on to work on. We'll only work with the best people, the highest quality people for, the ownership group that owns the facility. It's just critically important to us that they want to do the right thing. Their number one concern is patient care. We found that with this group. So that's why we decided to get involved. So we will operate and manage the program. I can assure you guys that it'll be, up to the highest standard. We certainly have to meet all the state licensure requirements, but we also get all of our programs accredited by the Joint Commission and or CARF. So we try to, we're at least at those high standards, and then we go a cut above. We want every single person that comes into this program to feel loved the day that they walk in. You'll feel that whenever you get your tour. The facility's just, just feels awesome when you walk in. It's beautiful. And this will serve Andover and the surrounding areas. So those are the centers that I work on, that I develop. I want to serve a local community and help the people that are in that community. I don't build destination centers in Malibu and recruit people from cross country to go there. I want to go to areas where people don't access care. And what's really special, last thing I'll say about this place is at the ribbon cutting, we had providers from around the area that have similar services, residential services. And they were so welcoming and so happy that we brought this resource to the community. They want to work with us. And that's how I do business everywhere I go. To me, it's doesn't matter whether I manage it, own it, help it, or just support an organization. I want to see more care for more people around the country. And Andover's a special place. And so these other providers that came truly wish the best for this and I for them. And I can't wait till, we can dig in and work further with them to figure out how we can support them. But I'm excited about this community, the feeling that you get when you walk in that place and you meet the first 16 staff, of which Mercedes is one. They are first class and they're just awesome people. So anyway, I just want to share a little bit about who I am and why I do what I do. And I'm happy to be a part of this community. I surely appreciate your guys' support.
Thank you for sharing. Do
Thank you.
you have any questions? No?
Nope.
Thanks again.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
I served on the board of the rescue mission up on North Hillside for 15 years until probably longer than someone should serve on a board until last June. And I was finally said that was enough. I don't think until that time, I didn't realize, I don't think, how prevalent substance abuse and mental illness is. 50 years ago, the challenges were a lot different than what they deal with today. So I commend you. I believe from what I've heard, you're going to be a great asset to the community. So thank you. Anything else? Doesn't look like there's any members of the public that want to speak on the case. Has there been any written communication been received by staff?
No, sir.
Okay. Hearing no further public comments, I hereby close the public portion of the hearing. There'll be no more further public comments unless the commission wishes to ask questions or clarify information. The Planning Commission will now deliberate the request. There are 14 factors which the commission must consider in order to make findings and ultimately a recommendation. That'd be great. Go for it.
Staff items. Number 1, do adequate sewage disposal and water supply and all other necessary public facilities, including street access, exist, or can they be provided to serve the uses that would be permitted on the subject property if the change in zoning were approved? Staff, the property has existing access to Wichita Water, Andover sewers, and the public street system. 2, if the special use request was approved, would the subject property need to be platted or replatted or have in lieu of dedications made in order to provide needed rights of way, easements, building setback lines, or access control? Staff, the subject property is already platted and no additional dedications are expected to be necessary. 3, if the special use request was approved, would the subject property need a screening plan for existing or potential uses? Staff, the subject property has an existing site plan in place which includes screening. No additional screening would be required under the proposed use so long as the approved site plan is complied with. 4, what fact-based information in support of or in opposition to the requested zoning change has staff received? Staff support the proposed special use application. 5, if there has been an error in the application of these zoning regulations to the subject property, would the requested zoning change correct the error? Staff, no error is known to exist. Staff and commission council items. 6, how suitable or unsuitable is the subject property for its current use? Staff, the subject property is reasonably suitable for its current use as a skilled nursing facility despite being vacant for several years.
Concur.
7, is the length of time the subject property has been vacant or undeveloped under its current zoning a factor in the special use request? Staff, yes, the subject property has been vacant for several years. A special use was obtained in 2024 for this same purpose, but was not acted on within the period of validity, and the property remains vacant as a result.
Concur.
8, how reasonably well suited will the requested special use of the subject property be with the current zoning of nearby properties? Staff, the special use would be well suited with the current zoning of nearby properties, which are similarly mixed use in nature and which already feature similar medical type uses.
Concur.
9, has the special use been requested because conditions in the area of the subject property have changed or are changing? If so, what is the nature and significance of these conditions? Staff, yes, the building sat vacant for many years and despite efforts to open as an intermediate care facility in 2024, remains so.
Concur.
Concur.
10, what are the current land uses, character, and condition of the subject property and the surrounding neighborhood? Staff, the subject property abuts a residential neighborhood to the north, similar medical facility uses to the south and east, and a large commercial parcel, a multi-tenant retail space to the west. Across East Central Avenue, further to the south, is another residential neighborhood.
Concur.
Concur.
11, would the proposed special use of the subject property allow land uses which might have detrimental effects on nearby properties, and if so, how? Staff, the proposed use is no more intense than the existing permitted skilled nursing care facility use.
Concur.
12, how would the requested special use conform with the city's comprehensive plan and other adopted master plans and policies? Staff, the subject property is designated with the city center place type, which encourages larger scale tenants, restaurants, commercial retailers, mixed-use developments, and small-scale office uses. A medical campus/hospital is listed as a typical land use which may be found in this place type, making the proposed special use well-suited for the area.
Concur.
Concur.
13, do any professional persons knowledgeable on conditions that affect this special use request have information or recommendations to provide which would be helpful in its evaluation? Staff support the proposed special use.
Concur.
14, how would the potential loss in value or hardship imposed on the applicant compare to the relative gain to the public health, safety, and welfare if there is a change from the current use to the requested use? Staff anticipate no detrimental effects to public health, safety, and welfare associated with this minor change in use. Concur.
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 Thank you, Dan. Having discussed and reached conclusions on our finding of fact, I'd remind the commission any proper motion should reflect the factors on which it's based, and if approval is recommended, then consideration should be given to any conditions that might be attached. Is there a motion to either approve, modify and approve, or disapprove, or table discussion?
Mr. Chairperson, having considered the evidence at the hearing and the factors to evaluate the application, I, Gary Israel, move that we recommend to the governing body the case number Z-SU 26-0002 be approved based on the findings of the Planning Commission on findings 7, 8, 10, and 12 as recorded in the summary of this hearing.
Thank you, Gary. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dan. We have a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you very much. Thanks for taking time out of your night to come too. Yeah, this case will be forwarded to the governing body with the Planning Commission recommendation and a written summary of the hearing for consideration at the regular meeting of July 14th, 2026. The recording of the hearing will be retained for at least 60 days after final determination is completed on the case. Protest petitions against these cases, but not direct at the commission's recommendations as such, may be received by the city clerk for 14 days after tonight, June 20th, 2026 at 4:30 p.m. I don't think that's right.
June 30th.
If there are any properly signed protest petitions with accurate legal descriptions from the owners of record of 20% or more of the total real property owners within the official areas of notification, both inside and outside of the city, and not counting public streets or right-of-way or specific statutorily excluded property, then such a change should not be passed by except a 3/4 vote of all members of the city council. Thanks again for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Any member items?
I have one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that the Myers pole sign has gone up and coming from the north headed south on Andover Road. The only reason I saw it was because it was so bright up in the trees.
Was it night?
No, it was just on the way down here this evening. I saw it going up the other day and I happened to look at it tonight. And you can't see the sign in the trees except for how bright the LED light is. So I haven't looked at it going north yet, but coming south, I think they did a disservice by putting it on a pole.
I will definitely take a look at the brightness. We do have the
Yeah,
capabilities now.
take a look at the brightness.
I'm a little surprised we didn't have any public here tonight. I
Yeah,
remember, the
no
reason I remember
comments.
that meeting
Same.
2 years ago was because we had
Oh.
several
Mhm.
people here, concerned about, who the residents were gonna be.
Yeah, I didn't get any comments. Dylan didn't get any calls.
Yeah, I
From
figured
anyone?
when I looked at the agenda that we were gonna have some public here tonight, but. Yeah. So is the current ownership group the same ones who came before the commission in 24? So
No.
they
I guess.
bought it and then resold it?
Yeah, I think that original group wasn't able to make the project work, so they sold it on.
Uh-huh. Excuse me. Any other member items? No?
Mr. Chairperson, I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, no. Motion passes.